Have you ever been in a state of mind where you want to do something, but nothing at the same time? You want to do something, but you can't figure out what. But at the same time, you don't want to end up wasting your day doing nothing. What is that? I don't understand it. It's like the brain is acting on its own stubborn accordance. It can't figure out what it wants, and anything which you recommend to yourself doesn't sink in as a possibility or decision made. The brain just passively responds, saying, nah, not today, can't be bothered, as if there is a brain within you that exists separately from your introspecting self. What usually happens from this is you end up wasting the day anyway, and this is not because you feel like it or that you want to, it is rather because you have no other choice, so you end up doing something which reaps no reward in return, like playing a video game or doing something new out of a sort of fake curiosity to see if it will unburden this strange, energetic void which looms over you. And this isn't a feeling of depression because my mood is as normal as any other day. It is rather a mental stubborn existence in the head, pent-up energy which wants to manifest but doesn't know how, causing you to be put in a state of limbo, not making a decision because there is no decision which you particularly desire the most, leading you towards an activity which would usually be associated with a form of procrastination, but this time you are not postponing anything, you are just waiting for this mental limbo to burst. It's not the easiest thing to explain, and it doesn't really make much sense because it is a bit of a paradox. But I guess you could call it the existential limbo, a bit like the middle ground of the absurd. On one end there is existence or existing, and on the other there is purpose and meaning, and in the middle there is the existential limbo, which involves the existence of a void or black hole which engulfs energy, only to exist out of confusion with the world. Like a vessel out in space, but being your mind. It moves without any intended direction, and it doesn't know which direction to go, until it does, when the fogginess disappears. You might be thinking, well, this is just you being lazy, isn't it? But it's not, because I don't want to be lazy. I have this built-up energy which I want to express but don't know where to put it. And this is not Sisyphus pushing any boulder up the hill as the usual story goes. The existential limbo is kind of like Sisyphus not knowing which rock to push. Just like with all other interests in life, he is not questioning the point of it all with angst and dread. He is just in the position where he has woken up from a nice long sleep, all ready to go with the day, but gets to the starting line not knowing what to do with himself. And that is how I felt yesterday. And one way in which I overrided this mental feedback loop was to write out this video, to put my thoughts, I guess, into words and to ask, has anyone else had this kind of experience? Most people go on about angst and dread when it comes to the existential mind games and thoughts we get ourselves into. This limbo, if you will, doesn't feel like or represent any of those usual existential experiences and definitions. It's more like being in a passive bubble of inertia, yet the will wants to but cannot locate any place to express itself. And therefore you have this limbo paradox, which makes me sound like a madman, but maybe some of you can relate, I don't know. But there you go, that was my latest existential experience/crisis thing. I don't really get them as much as I did back 3 years ago, but I thought you might find it at least somewhat interesting. If you somehow enjoyed this video, and if I triggered off an existential crisis in your head just before Christmas, make sure to give it a like, comment and subscribe, and of course check out my Patreon if you are interested in donating towards the channel. With that said, thanks for watching and I wish you happy holidays.